r/AskReddit. What is the fastest way a room of happy people turns sour you've witnessed? Dude decided to pop the question to his girlfriend at a work holiday party. She said no. Both parties began to cry inconsolably. All the guys in the room tried to cheer up the guy with their tales of woe. All the women in the room took the woman aside and did whatever the female version of the above was. Went from a fairly happy event to a complete disaster within minutes. Plus side. While all of this shit was going down, no one was hitting the buffet, so I cleaned the duck up. I was on a Chicago to NY flight. We all get on the plane, but were delayed taking off due to a heavy storm going on. About 20 minutes in, everybody was still pretty calm until the pilot announces they're working on getting our baggage loaded because it's been sitting on the tarmac this entire time. The entire plane looks out and sees all our luggage just sitting there in the pouring rain uncovered and starts freaking out. I am calling it someone's computer got ruined. 100%. Luckily mine was carry on, but I was just coming back from Japan and all the things I bought were in a duffel bag that got ruined. Bride throwing up on herself on the dance floor during the first dance. She tried to hold it back, but the groom just pointed her towards the dance floor and she let her rip. Was impressive. I was watching Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon in a movie theater when it came out in the early 1970s. The projector died during a fight scene. Every family reunion when my one aunt gets drunk and brings up my other aunt that died. Happens every time. My grandma keeps comparing me to the aunt who died before I was born. It's awkward. Was on a team, about 15 people, for a special project for a regional internet service provider. During the bi-weekly team meeting, the manager was super pumped about how far ahead of schedule we were due to some new processes we came up with. After about 20 minutes of attaboys, the manager concluded with telling us all we were being laid off in the same tone of voice she used for the whole meeting, issuing a bunch of praise. Most of us awkwardly laughed for a couple seconds thinking she was joking. She was not. Someone didn't quite grasp their management training or followed it too closely. The president of our company got completely plastered at our Christmas party. His speech started off funny because he was slurring hard and he was playing on it. Then he started talking about how he came from nothing and became something. Then he proceeded to tell us how if it wasn't for us working so hard and keeping our clients happy, he wouldn't have been able to accomplish building his mega mansion for him and his family, nor would he have been able to afford his new Benz. Awkward muttering, followed by him directing us to drink up and enjoy, because due to budget cuts, the future Christmas party bonus budget is cancelled from here on out. Many of my co-workers relied on that bonus. No one was impressed, except for one person. The rest of us quit within the first few months into the new year. Was bartending on one of our restaurant's busiest days. Place was packed and man and a boy of about 9 couldn't stop wrestling and giggling. The man about 30 years old started repeatedly yelling, "I'm gonna grab your penis." Yeah, the whole place dropped dead silent. Mother grabs the kid and says they need to chill out. That sounds like a what would you do show moment. I made the mistake of playing categories with my mother. She said no foreign words. You have to use English words. Fine. Fair enough. She then called out someone for using a foreign word. I can't remember. It's been 10 years. He took off the points. The next ducking round she used 3 foreign words. I called her out on it and she said it was no big deal. It was just a game. I argued that not only had she set the rule, but that she already called someone out for doing it. She called me a ducking a-hole and left the room. The Thanksgiving family time was over as pretty much everyone decided that was the time to leave. Total time from game start to end of the family time, 6 minutes. Edit. I meant categories, not scategories. Sorry if I ruined it for anyone. Bad snowstorm started about 4 AM a few years ago. My co-workers and I were texting each other thinking no way would they make us come into our job today. We are non-essential workers. We're all home waiting for the email to go out regarding whether or not our boss would give us the day off. Email finally goes out around 7:30 AM saying that we would have a shorter day but everyone must show up for work by 9. So I laid up, cleaned off my car, shoveled out of my parking spot and headed to work on very precarious roads. I got to work on time and was greeted by my co-workers who were all pretty happy just to not have gotten into an accident on the way over. All of the clients and meetings had been cancelled, so there was a party-like atmosphere. Just as we were talking about playing charades, we get another email from the boss saying because road conditions were so bad they were closing the agency after all and everyone had to go home. This was 20 minutes after we had all gotten there. I have never seen 20 plus people all scream "Are you ducking kidding me" at the same time before. It was absurd and everyone was pissed. I am pissed for you. At a small gathering, as the lid was lifted on an extra large pizza, a guy with a miserable cold sneezed directly onto it. Please tell me he offered to buy a new pizza. When the boss got drunk at the Christmas party and let slip that there was going to be layoffs coming in the new year. That sounds like a bit from The Office. LOL. Drinking with colleagues from work, a guy was needling me and a friend about how out of shape we are. It was fair and lighthearted. Suddenly my friend blurts out, "Yeah, at least we have attractive wives." Needling guy's wife was standing right there. One day at work we had an hour meeting followed by a planned pizza party as a reward for meeting some safety goal. They'd been telling us all week not to worry about food because they were getting pizza. Well, after the meeting we're sitting around waiting for the pizza to get there when our boss comes in and tells us there was a failure of communication and no one actually ordered the pizza. If you want to see 50 factory workers go from excited to murder ready in less than a second, that's what you tell them. We had to work on a holiday but management didn't, so there was nobody to unlock the building. We waited outside from 7 AM until 7:45 and were told that if we didn't get in by 8 we could go home. 7:55 the manager shows up and lets us in. This makes me mad just reading this. Telling them they're all going to be let go just before Christmas. Walmart is really bad about letting their seasonal people go the same week as Christmas after spending 90 days building them up as having a chance of being more than a temp. Not exactly a room, but our plane landed home after my company spent a year in Iraq. Our company commander previously told us to tell our families that they shouldn't come out to the tarmac to welcome us back because it would be a ducking circus and you'll just see them later anyway. Stepping off the plane, who are the first and only people we see? Our ducking commander's wife, 3 kids, parents, grandparents, brothers, and numerous cousins' friends. What an ass. I know, right? He was the worst. I worked at a casino for a couple of years and the joke is totally true. How do you piss off 500 old people? Yell bingo. When I was a kid, there were about 6-8 families in our area who were a good group of friends. Regular holidays together. Kids all close friends too and in the same classes at school, etc. The backstory was that one of the families kept noticing money going missing from a drawer in the master bedroom. They had an older son who was getting the blame but was denying it. Fast forward a few weeks and it's their younger kid's birthday, and everyone is at their house. Usual script was the kids' party would be late afternoon. Then in the evening the kids would end up playing games in some bedroom as the adults had a few drinks. Kids were happy because we got to stay up late with all our friends. Parents got to have a few guilt-free drinks. This night was going as normal until we're all shuffled out and home earlier than usual. We got the full story the next day. Once the kids were out of the way, the owners of the house had turned on their TV and pressed play on a video. On screen there was CCTV of the bedroom where the money had been going missing. Clearly in the video you could see the wife of one of the other couples sitting in that very room, going into the drawer and taking money. Apparently they switched off the video, said what you saw is exactly what it looked like and asked that couple to leave. Everyone else left shortly after. In grad school we were gathered in a room to hear about how the last term of classes in the program was going to be cut due to a new law regarding educator requirements for the state. Everyone was stoked because it was gonna save us like $8,000. Then they told us that due to state budget cuts, our total tuition was going to double. Family members waiting outside the baby ward. The husband comes out with the shocked expressions, sits down and says the kid's not mine. Everyone becomes confused but then are horrified. A day later, I could see the husband talking to who is presume are his in-laws, begging him not to leave their daughter and saying they'll do something about the baby. Family gathering was going great until the host realized she was missing thousands of dollars worth of jewelry. She started accusing everyone of being thieves until her husband said he put it away without telling her. In Portugal during the World Cup, get there early to find a street bar in the center with a big screen. Place is soon packed. England start really well and everyone is singing and laughing. All of a sudden the bar up the road erupts into massive cheers. Lots of people go out into the road to see. Apparently someone just dropped an entire tray of drinks. We all laugh and go back to watching the game. 10 seconds later England score. Our bar erupts and we spill into the street. The bar up the road is deadly silent now. Weird. The game starts again and the bar up the road starts shouting again. Nothing in the game. What's going on? People look up the road again. Can't quite work it out. Then a really bad tackle goes in and the penny finally drops. Our bar's TV is the only one using satellite and all the other bars have cable. Our feed is about 20 seconds behind everywhere else. Every exciting moment is audible about 20 seconds before we get to see it. Have never seen a bar empty so fast in all my life. The other day, on Thanksgiving, my brother cracked a cold beer right as we were about to eat. Problem was, we were at my mom's and she's super anti-alcohol unless she wants some. Well, since my brother cracked one, my dad did too and my mom turned into some shit from The Exorcist, screaming, cussing my dad and brother, hurling personal insults, looking for keys so she could threaten to leave, the whole 9 yards. The worst part is I haven't been up to see them in months, so I had just driven 3+ hours with my kids and my husband and we had just gotten there 30 minutes prior. I just sat there awkwardly staring at my husband while the brawl took place until we could sneak out on the porch to hide. Then we all ate in silence. How was Wiles' holiday? Someone admitted that they took advantage of a very drunk woman in a game of Never Have I Ever. Whole company, 60+ people, gathered at a product unveiling cheerleading event where we were expecting surprising news, bonuses. Instead we were informed that the least senior and biggest donghead was promoted to partner. All downhill from there. Camp. 150 kids headed to an ice skating rink. Everyone laughing, cheering, having fun, sitting on school buses for 2 hours. The place is closed. Instant chaos. Screaming. General unhappiness. Took us back the next day but still the angriest I've ever seen. 150 kids. This is more of a mild story but still very uncomfortable. It was at work during break. A whole bunch of us were outside smoking. One guy asks my co-worker if he has any kids. Says that he likes to dress up as Santa for the young ones. So my co-worker tells him I have a daughter that just turned 20. And he replied with, well, she can definitely come sit on my lap. The silence after that sentence was so painful. Everyone ended up going back inside after that. It was super awkward. Bro, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content. It's free and that's a great price.